All right. I'm knocking on heaven's door over here. I'm on the goddamn precipice of being sleepy. I'm not taking any shit from you guys today. You hear that? You're all on goddamn. You're on red alert. You're all on. It's all right. You guys had a. Fuck. What was that Bernie Sanders meme? You had a something every day, and it was your abusive dad getting home. Fuck. What was that meme? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where somebody was like, "Don't you talk to me about X. I had to deal with an X every day when my dad came home." This like a Twitter copy pasta. It was really popular back in like 2020 during the primary. Was it nine? Oh, was it 9/11? Was it 9/11? That oh, it was 9/11. It was 9/11. I was thinking because it got used a lot during the Bernie Sanders thing, or I associate it with Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is my 9/11 or whatever. Anyway, I'm your 9/11 today, okay? Today I am your 9/11. There it is. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not going to care about Afghanistan because I grew up with an alcoholic, psychologically abusive father in a constant state of distress, anxiety, and worry about the future. Hearing the key in the door every evening was my own Afghanistan for almost 20 years. Okay, today I am your Afghanistan, all right? That's what it is. Thank you, Vermin. You too. I've been wearing increasingly dressy shirts for stream to like get some use out of all of them, and I'm now wearing my dressiest shirt. Look, it's honestly almost like inappropriately dressy for just sitting around without a jacket, you know what I mean? It's the knit shirt. Wow, it's a shirt? Yeah, that's true. Literally just a t-shirt. Are you fucking blind? How can a t-shirt be dressy? Have you guys learned nothing? Are you joking? It's just a t. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Looks kind of like a sweater? Yes, because it's a knitted t-shirt, all right? Not a regular t-shirt. See? Knitted? See how along the arms you have a seam and along the neck? And see how it hugs the torso? Do you see? Like that? It's a t-shirt constructed like a sweater so that it looks dressy and looks good under nice jackets. Like, look. See? See how it looks dressier like this? Do you see now? Do you see? You wouldn't really wear a knitted shirt on its own, I don't think. Okay. For some reason, my knitted t-shirts always get really wrinkled from the wash. You're washing your knitted t-shirts? Were were you born in a cave? Do you wear a sweater and then you're like, that was a good wear of that sweater. Let me put that in high fucking rinse cycle. The hot dryer. Are you insane? Good lord. How the fuck would you clean in them? They're sweaters. Sometimes you cold wash them. Sometimes you send them to the dry cleaners. Nisasi, it's quite comfortable. It's not tied around the neck. You look buff in that not t-shirt, King. Is that because of the clothing or just your own quality? It hugs the arm, see? Oh shit, you're right. Oh, dude, my arm looks fucking rad. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Oh my god. Absolutely. There you go. Good tailoring and all it can do for you. Yeah, that's the Gooner grip right there. I don't work out or anything. Why are you so shaky? I have shaky arms. I've always had shaky arms. Yeah, we'll get to that substance soda. Yeah, Thana, it's coming along pretty well. I'm almost at 210. What kind of jacket was that? Um, that's an L Bean denim chore jacket. The type of jacket is chore. Denim is the material, though it's lined in the interior, and it's from L Bean. Or is it LL Bean? Is there one or two L's? I forget. It's two L's? LL Bean, yeah. Chore jackets are great. Four women have told me that I have soft hands in the past weeks. What does that mean? It means they're lesbian and they like you. Do you have to do chores in that jacket or can you do other stuff? You have to do chores. Maybe below. God willing. Yeah, that means put them in me. Exactly. I actually think, if you'll have to forgive me, chore coats are by far the number one sleeper hit that you guys need to get in on, okay? Chore coats are like the perfect way to very slightly upscale your shit, but it doesn't look like try hard men's fashion wear or whatever. Chore coats are so nice. Yo, Israel aid passed. Yeah, yeah. How do you know so much about lesbians? It's because listen, okay? I'm like Berlusconi, all right? Everyone has a homosexual side to them, and it just so happens that in my case, my homosexual side is lesbian. Yeah, happy weed day. What does it mean when a guy sends you pictures of his ass? I can't put all the pieces together for you. You're just gonna have to intuit some stuff yourself. How's your chest? In great pain today, thank you. Exactly, Monarch Posad or whatever the fuck your name is. It'd be cool if you covered whatever's happening in Georgia. I feel like covering anything happening in Georgia is a waste of time because everything here is a foregone conclusion and it's just going to be depressing. You know what I mean? Like, at least China responded to international pressure by lightening up on the surveillance of the Uyghur Muslim minority population of the Xinjiang province. What the fuck is Russia going to do? You know? Like in Georgia? Are you kidding me? You know? What hope is there for Georgia, really? The crazy thing is that if the population of Georgia actually shrugged their shoulders and overthrew their very unpopular government, I genuinely feel like Russia couldn't do much about it. Russia doesn't have the population, they don't have the political will, more so than anything, I think, right now, to deal with like insurrectionary activity in Georgia, to like launch another invasion, you know? But maybe not. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it's my favorite too, Bolshevik. Never Cernos. They can't invade us all. Yeah, we just need like the 58 latent secessionary movements in and around Russia to all take flight all at once. Wizard. A protester draped in the EU flag confronts riot police in Tbilisi? Tbilisi? I couldn't even begin to guess. Well, I hope they're having fun. Is Eastern Europe Georgia more progressive than Southern USA Georgia? I don't know if you'd call them Eastern Europe. Not really. I got maybe I don't know, kind of vague. But you know what? Let's just go with yes. Okay. Everybody in Georgia, comma Asia, is a communist and trans friendly, so support them. Yeah, Western Asia. Central Asia, yeah. This is the main reason why Georgia is gigacucked, and it's all geography, you know? It's purely geography. Like, look at this. How many allies can they possibly have? They're right up against Turkey, but then they're right next to the Armenia-Azerbaijan bullshit, right? And then the rest of it is Russia, you know? Like what are they going to get help-wise? Almost as fucked as Iraq? Well, no, not really, because Iraq is bordered by their natural ally, and in fact, what should be one country, Iran. You know? All right, we're now like we're like Shiite redentists on this stream. Okay, we want like greater Shiite Islamism to spread in every direction outward. Okay, the Taliban actually natural allies of the Ayatollah. Spread out here. You know, Turkmenistan. It's time. God willing. Yeah, we're gonna do the new Persian Empire. Xerxes posting. Uh, Vosh jokes, but I bet it would actually be more stable. I think that in Iraq that is functionally controlled by Iran might be, possibly, if done well. I do not think Iran would actually benefit from doing anything in Afghanistan. The Taliban are right now. There are literally like 100,000 Taliban guys in like desks, like in offices in Kabul, waiting for the opportunity to engage in more like insurrectionary, you know, mountain fighting. They're just waiting. They have their guns under their desks. They're waiting. They want it. As for Turkmenistan, I don't know enough about Turkmenistan to say. Let's just say, sure, invade. Go, Iran, go. What's the population of Turkmenistan anyway? You know, you're probably fine. Look at how little information there is about Turkmenistan on Google Maps. Like, look at these roads, you know? Got 5 people here. Turkmenistan population. 6.4 million. That's like 1/10 of Iran, right? Iran's like 60? 88 million. Oh! Dog whistle? Dog whistle? What did they mean by this? Isn't Turkmenistan just North Korea but Central Asia version? Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's like really bad. It's up there with North Korea and Eritrea in terms of being horrible. Holy shit, the birds outside will not shut the fuck up. Reminder that in 2006, Joe Biden wanted to split Iraq up into a Sunni Shia and Kurdish Emirate confederacy. That probably would have been better than what actually happened. Unironically? Yeah, maybe. In a 2006 New York Times article, Joe Biden and U.S. government official Leslie H. Gell put forward an argument in favor of a soft partition of Iraq that would transform it into a federal state along ethno-religious lines. I don't know, maybe. Criticism of the idea. Wow. Feel like it's a 3-way war recipe. I mean, that might end up happening anyway. How many soldiers are in that Iran-controlled, Iraq-sanctioned military that got bombed by Israel the other day? 250,000? I mean, it seems like if they wanted to, if they were given the breathing room, Iran might be able to effectively just take control of the Iraqi government anyway. Given enough time, you know, the population of Iraq is majority Shiite. We're talking about Iraq, Muck. Yeah, they got rid of the word jihad, Dream Canoe, because they're cowards. Y'all, did you hear the guy who self-immolated yesterday died? Not surprising. Yeah, if you light yourself on fire. What happened? Watch yesterday's stream. Why didn't Bushnell end the war? What are you talking about? Why would you... Hush. Vaxxed? Alright, we got it, boys. $50 trillion given to Ukraine so that Zelensky can invade Russia, or whatever it is he's doing over there now. $95 billion legislative package, a pretty hefty chunk, though not all of it's going to Ukraine. How much of it is... Okay, the vast majority, $61 billion to Ukraine, $23 billion to replenish U.S. weapon stocks and facilities. Oh, the $23 billion to replenish our stock comes from the 60.8. $26 billion for Israel, including $9 billion for humanitarian needs. Here, wait. Just give me the breakdown. Just give me the breakdown, okay? The overall amount provided to Ukraine for the purchase of weapons would be only $14 billion. Oh, dude. 61 billion for Ukraine, in parentheses, only like 1/5 of it is actually going to be going to Ukraine for the purchase of weapons. Ukraine would receive 9 billion of economic assistance in the form of forgivable loans. These aid packages were riders on a bill to ban TikTok. Oh, good. Two good things happening. About $8 billion for helping U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific region. All right. And countering China. More than $3.3 billion would go towards submarine infrastructure and development, with an additional $1.9 billion to prevent U.S. weapons provided to Taiwan. All right, so this is our geopolitics. We're doing, you know, allyship here. Nice. And this is all riders in the TikTok ban? The House passed legislation Saturday that would ban TikTok in the U.S. if the popular social media platform's China-based owner doesn't sell its stake within a year, but don't expect the app to go away anytime soon. As part of a larger foreign aid package. You guys ever think about the fact that, like, the U.S. government is never going to be able to get anything done as long as it's possible to introduce riders like this? Like, think about it. This is an aid package to Taiwan, Ukraine, Israel, humanitarian assistance to Palestinians, rearmament of ourselves, and all of that is being stapled to a ban on TikTok. Like, insane. You know? Ridiculous. Yeah, it's impossible to, like, pick or choose any good or bad thing, because it's just 50 good and 50 bad things all stable together. The modified measure passed by a 360 to 58 vote now goes to the Senate after negotiations that lengthen the timeline for the company to sell to 9 months, with a possible additional 3 months if a sale is in progress. Okay. Legal challenges could extend that timeline even further. Well, we'll see if the Senate passes it, but... There should be a 50-page limit on bills. I think that every bill introduced in our legislature has to be handwritten visibly on the floor of the House or Senate by the legislator introducing it in crayon. And I think everyone has to watch quietly while they do it. It's the only way to ensure, like, a direct line of action. What's the Vosh take on TikTok banning? Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. It's like, it's bad, but I despise TikTok more than you could imagine. I think it's terrible. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really care. I mean, it's bad in the sense that, like, it's obviously our government. It's okay. Let me. Sorry, I spoke too hastily there. Let me qualify this. Okay, the bill is terrible. It's basically just like a very broadly defined, if we declare this site to be an enemy of America, then, you know, we have the right to shut it down, whatever. However, like, in the abstract, the absence of TikTok is fine. Because then everyone will go to YouTube and watch my videos and give me AdSense. Ooh. What do Indians use now that TikTok has been banned? Well, if it does get banned in the US, they'll just have to use Facebook like the rest of us. Or considering the fact that the ban is only in the United States, they could just keep using TikTok. Well, that's all there. Oh, India banned TikTok? No, I didn't even know that. Well, then I guess they haven't had to deal with it in a while. India is gay. I think, if anything, India is too straight, actually. Hmm. Well, I guess we'll see how far it goes. Nice beam. Didn't use my goddamn brush before stream. My god. That's better. Maybe. Cass can't travel on public transport anymore? Damn, that's crazy. Dr. Hilary Cass has criticized the spread of disinformation around her report, including from a Labour MP, as she revealed she has been told not to travel on public transport over safety fears. Nice meme. Being, Calling the assertion completely wrong, Cass said that it was unforgivable for people to undermine her report by spreading straight disinformation. I would strongly recommend you guys watch the old Sean video on the bell curve, because I feel like the Cass report is similar to it in a lot of ways. The Cass report is loaded, as was the bell curve, with lots and lots of extremely moderate statements that downplayed the overall purpose of the book / report, that, like, would provide a bunch of arguments leaning in one direction, or would present like incredibly skewed information, and then would go, but, you know, that doesn't mean we're making any recommendations, we're merely reviewing the literature, and da-da-da. Like, the whole point is to present a pseudo-scientific, extremely biased pretense for, you know, medical oppression, but in such a way that if examined directly, it's full of like caveats and fake nuance. So yeah, I don't care for this at all. Like that's the whole thing they want, you know? They want all of the recommendations to be like to sound very moderate but imply really bad stuff, and then people get mad at them, and then they dive into the actual content of the cast report, and it's like, ah, well, look at how measured they are this entire time. See if I can't find the recommendations list at the end. Where are they hiding? The Nation. Does this have the recommendations? Here, I don't see it here. Hold on. Why can't Cass just drive? Yeah, honestly, she's so lazy. Oh yeah, this was it. Key findings and overview of recommendations. And then a lot of these like don't even mean anything, you know? Children/young people referred to NHS Gender Services must receive a holistic assessment of their needs to inform an individualized care plan. This should include screening for neurodevelopmental conditions, including autism spectrum disorder and mental health assessment. Like, this sounds really innocuous if viewed in a vacuum, but if you're going to the NHS Gender Services, you're going to the NHS Gender Services. The implication here, and this is like a core part of transphobic reactionary rhetoric on trans youth, is the idea that you're not actually trans, you're just autistic or depressed or whatever else. You're going to make a gender clinician also screen for autism and do a bunch of like other psychiatric stuff, you know? Like, why, if you're going to the gender clinic, you're going to the gender clinic. Like, that's, you know, that is what you are there for. It sounds like innocuous because you'd think that's like a normal standard thing to do anyway, but that's the reason why these prescriptions are so vague, you know? They touch on and legitimize the reactionary fears of the right wing without making claims that are so ostentatious that they invite, like, you know, too much scrutiny. Oh yeah, this. Services should establish a separate pathway for prepubertal children and their families, ensuring they're prioritized about how parents can best support their child. Da, da, da. When family carers are making decisions about social transition of prepubertal children, services should ensure they can be seen as early as possible by a clinical. Oh no, not that one. That one's fine. Um, where was the really egregious one? Oh yeah, right here. The option of providing masculinizing/feminizing hormones from 16 and on is available, but the review recommends extreme caution, which is not language justified by any evidence presented, like, whatsoever. You know, it's not like warranted by the content of the report. Where's the one with the family members that I remember? Oh yeah, support for parents, carers, and siblings is appropriate. Support the management of the associated distress from gender incongruence and co-occurring conditions, including support for parents, carers, and siblings is appropriate. Yeah. I mean, if you want like any better insight into the intent of the cast report, then you like need only remember that as soon as it came out, every British politician was like, "Yes, we will restrict like medical access to transitioning for people who are 16 or whatever." You know? That one Labor MP who was like, "I regret saying trans women are women." Yeah. The cast report didn't even fucking talk about that, but it was just like, you know, walking it back. The review has received criticism from some international medical organizations. Nice. Oh yeah, right. Not just a Labor MP, but the fucking shadow secretary for health. Insane. Absolutely insane. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said the findings shine a spotlight on the need for a cautious approach to child and adolescent gender care, saying the report must provide a watershed moment for the NHS's gender identity services and committing the Labour Party to implementing the report's recommendations in full. Speaking to Sky News, Yvette Cooper said that Labour welcomed the Cass review and committed to implementing all of its recommendations. The Scottish government, being slightly better, said that it would take the time to consider the findings. I mean, Geekstar, international medical organizations attacked it pretty much immediately, you know? The World Professional Association for Transgender Health released an email statement that the report is rooted in the false premise that non-medical alternatives to care will result in less adolescent distress. The Professional Association for Transgender Health, Aotearoa, a New Zealand professional organization, stated the Cass review made harmful recommendations not in line with international consensus, that restricting access to social transition is restricting gender expression, a natural part of human. Oh, yeah, man, I forget how bad this was, where it started, like, cautioning people against social transitioning. The review strongly discourages social transitioning because it may have significant effects on the child or young person in terms of their psychological functioning and long-term outcomes. Oh, Julie Bindel. Cass review, a victory for women, children, and common sense. Dr. Cass's landmark review into gender care services in England brought us one step closer to throwing the harmful delusion that is gender ideology into the dustbin of history. Mm-hmm. Again, like this is a hundreds of page long review that was commissioned and crafted for political purposes and has been extolled and celebrated by every like right of center transphobe there is, you know. The purpose of a system is its outcome. This isn't like an accident. The review, conducted by respected pediatrician Hilary Cass, found that some of the most vulnerable members of society, children presenting with gender dysphoria, in quotes, which in many cases masks autism, sexual abuse, trauma, and confusion over same-sex attraction, among other conditions, have been let down by a lack of research and remarkably weak evidence on medical intervention, you know, once you ignore all the evidence on the subject. In short, Cass has found that puberty blockers do indeed have side effects, obviously, and negative health implications. No, she didn't. We read that part of the literature analysis that she didn't find that. Her inquiry concluded that there is at best weak evidence that these drugs are safe and beneficial to gender questioning children. Remember when Cass then just 2 days ago or 3 days ago now was conducted an interview with a queer organization and said that she thinks if anything puberty blockers need to be used younger, like earlier in life? Well, anyway. The anthology Monarch Passad. Wasn't Cass also following anti-trans and turf groups? Yeah, on Twitter. There were a few, like, just explicit hate groups that she was following. So what straight disinformation is she talking about? Because again, this is the whole purpose, right? And it's so characteristically British too, you know, to like to be so vile and then to try to whip up a career, not a career, I shouldn't say a career, to try to whip up sympathy out of whining about the blowback, you know? It's all J.K. Rowling does. It started the day before the report came out when an influencer put up a picture of a list of papers that were apparently rejected for not being randomized controlled trials. List has nothing to do with either a report or any of the papers. Did you did you did did you not say that a bunch of studies that you went over were low quality because they didn't we read that in the report in the literature reviews? Didn't you consistently say that a lack of certain methodological practices, including the randomized control trials, were lowering the quality of... Okay. Days after the cashew was public, activists claimed on social media only 2 out of 100 studies were included in the report. Cass explained that researchers had appraised every single paper, but pulled the results from the ones that were high and medium quality, which was 60 out of 103. Butler, she added, you don't get up in Parliament with an intent to spread misinformation, but what I was dismayed about was the understanding that she got from the report. Cass's NHS review found that an entire field of medicine aimed at enabling children to change gender. Listen, dude, even here, well, this is the time, so I'm not surprised. Listen to the fucking language. An entire field of medicine aimed at enabling children to change gender. Like, the fucking language here is so biased. Like, because that's the narrative they want to push. That it's like a group of doctors who are making a bunch of money, like grooming children, or like convincing autistic or depressive or anxious children that like actually being trans will solve their problems or whatever. She found there was no good evidence to support the global clinical practice of prescribing hormones to under 18s to pause puberty or transition to the opposite sex. Well, no, she didn't. She didn't. There is good evidence to support that. Like, the good is doing a lot of work here. And even she has walked back some of these claims, man. Oh my god. Her final report, the world's biggest review into the contested field of transgender healthcare. Cass said she was pleased that for the most part, both sides in the debate over the treatment of children with gender dysphoria had not weaponized her report. Literal fucking both. Are you joking? But she still had to deal with a pretty aggressive response from some, particularly those in activist groups. She's also staying away from Twitter. There are some pretty vile emails coming at the moment. Don't care. What dismays me is how childish the debate can become. If I don't agree with someone, I'm called transphobic. Or a TERF. I don't think she's a TERF, I just think she's transphobic. Cass revealed that 6 clinics had thwarted her review by refusing to cooperate with research into the long-term impact of prescribing puberty blockers and sex hormones. I'm really sorry, wait. Am I remembering correctly? Didn't the reason the way in which these clinics didn't cooperate was that they didn't share a bunch of medical information with Cass? Is that not correct? Because I remember Cass in the literature reviews talking about how in some of these larger surveys that were done, the clinics didn't provide information on, like, you know, the details of the people who were being studied. I don't remember the exact context in which this, like, refusal took place. Secretive gender clinics back down over puberty blocker data? What is this? 6 NHS trusts had initially refused to divulge information on trans children for the CAS review of gender services, but will now do so. Oh, I can't read this one now. I'm not giving you money. Fuck you. The review team wanted to assess what risk factors in a patient's history could possibly be linked to detransition. A consultant who had carried out an audit of information from GIDS patients had agreed to give it to the CAS team. We asked the Tavistock to have it, and they wouldn't give it to us. It was very disappointing. Okay? Like, I mean, they didn't provide a bunch of medical records of their patients? Man, again, look, dude. Look at the way Cass talks. Look at how bad she is at maintaining the, like, specter of scientific neutrality. Following her report, Kemi Badenoch, the Equalities Minister, told the Sunday Times that there had been ideological capture of institutions, including the NHS, which needed to be corrected if Cass's recommendations were to be fully delivered. Cass responded yesterday by saying there could plainly be ideological capture about almost anything, and certainly about this. In regards to Tavistock, she told the Times that she had concluded there were certainly one or two individuals who I would describe as activists among the staff. That's, man, I hate how I keep getting thrown into the culture war. By the way, you know, I agree with this political, minister's statement on these institutions being captured by woke activists. Yeah, I'm just a neutral scientific arbiter going where the truth leads me. Hey, by the way, I've got, I also believe that these, institutions have been captured. She singled out gender GP. Oh, isn't that the one with where there was a fuss with Finster? Also, can somebody please get me a list of the review's 32 recommendations? I tried quickly Googling for it, and I couldn't find it. Oh, I love these recommended articles. Growing up, I wanted to be a boy. I'm glad puberty blockers were not an option. Are autism and gender dysphoria linked? This professor thinks so. Hillary Cass's biggest gift is to resurrect free speech. You know, with wonderful scientifically minded papers like the Times, covering her so glowingly, it really contributes the impression that I get that this wasn't like a plant, When I look up the recommendations, the ones that are listed in the final report, there are only like 8 of them. Literally this. The most, like, prescient Onion article of all time. I believe so, Rain Drive. Dirv. I just want to find the 32 recommendations. Yeah, the Independent has a summary. And the Independent is independent, so we can trust it. See, look at the articles they're linking here. Woman reveals what happens to her body after only consuming orange juice for 40 days. See, that's the, scientific mind that we're here to sort of engage with. So, summary of what Dr. Cass has said. Gender care is an area of remarkably weak evidence, just factually not correct. But results of studies have been exaggerated or misrepresented by people on all sides of the debate to support their viewpoint. Stating that it is of remarkably weak evidence is exaggeration and misrepresentation. Dr. Cass said there is currently no good evidence in the long-term outcome of interventions to manage gender-related distress. Factual lie. Alongside a puberty blocker trial, which is expected could be in place by December, there should be research into psychosocial interventions and the use of the masculinizing and feminizing hormones, testosterone and estrogen. There is, but sure, always do more, I guess. Extreme caution. Care needs to be holistic and personal. Check for autism. Follow-through services 17 to 25. No clear evidence that social transition in childhood has any positive or negative mental health outcomes, and relatively weak evidence for effects in adolescence. Didn't we Google this and find this was a lie, like, really quickly? I guess she wouldn't have thought those studies were high quality, or whatever. Do they think that autists have, like, no stable sense of self-identity? Yes, they do. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a really common transphobic talking point, that autistic people are just kind of, like, shiftless, dumb, naive, and vulnerable. And that, like, it's really easy to groom them into thinking they're a different gender. The percentage of people treated with hormones who then detransition remain unknown because of the lack of long-term follow-up studies. Dude, didn't she literally say that in the assessment that she did, she found only a tiny percentage of the people studied detransitioned? We have so many studies over and over that indicate really, really low desistance rates, but the review stated there are suggestions numbers are increasing. Based on what? All right, whatever. I feel like we've gone over the cast review enough times, honestly. It's yeah. The point is taken. I don't know. Dumb shit. Also, no other medical intervention is subject to this much scrutiny. No, nothing is. There is no other medical intervention that you would do to an adult or to a minor that has anywhere near this amount of scrutiny being placed in it. The idea that this is being done like in a neutral, scientifically minded way and not in a political way is total bullshit. Like absolute bullshit. Insane. Absolutely insane. Abortion? No. Not even abortion. Not even close. No. Abortion has a lot of restrictions on it. But in terms of like this pseudo-scientific, pseudo-medical, like we need 50 trillion studies, we need like 6 years of follow-through, we need to like introduce this many roadblocks. It's like the closest that I can think of is like the bills where like the you have to wait a certain amount of time and the abortion doctor is required to show you like a scan of the fetus inside you or whatever, which is really, really, really bad. I'm not downplaying that. I'm just saying that like it's usually the argument against abortion isn't the medical procedure itself, but rather the like taking a life thing, you know? But in this case, it's fussing and fussing and fussing over the like standard of care for the patient, which is a different like kind of fussing, you know? It doesn't like correspond to anything else that I can think of. Very annoying. Phenomenal. Let's hope the cast report is the end of making kids swap gender. Nice. Thank you, the sun.
No good use for puberty blockers. Remarkable weak evidence. Thousands of lives ruined, essentially, by evidence.
Thousands of lives ruined, essentially.
Built on sand. Experts cowed by the mob of people accusing them of being...
Hey, quick question. If Dr. Hilary Cass is so concerned with people misrepresenting her, why doesn't she call out these liars? Like, she's literally complaining about Twitter activists misrepresenting her paper, while some of the most powerful and wealthy quote-unquote journalists in Britain are openly lying about the content. The cast review doesn't say thousands of people's lives ruined. The cast review doesn't say it's all built on set. Like, out of curiosity, if she's so interested in challenging misinterpretations of her report, where is all of her, where's her rebuking all of the gleeful misinterpretation being done by hate mongers who occupy the highest seats of power in the country, you know? Why the obsession with fucking lefty Twitter activists representing one of the most marginalized groups in Britain? Just wondering. Just curious.
Being transphobic. How did it take this long to get to this scenario?
Yeah, look, first of all, I welcome the Cass review, and I want to thank Hilary Cass and her team for the thorough and thoughtful and careful and sensitive way in which they've undertaken this research.
There it is, hate mongerers, but the construction of the Cass review is meant to come across as like neutral and scientific and, you know, moderate, so that they can be like, you know, this is such a wonderful, impartial, unbiased assessment of the situation that validates all of our hate mongering, you know?
In an area that, you know, when you look at the children and young people involved, and actually, you know, the adults in our country as well, who are, I think, desperately worried and frightened about the toxicity of this debate. I think she's done a really important...
Oh, I, a hate mongerer, am so concerned about the toxicity of this debate. You know, literally this bit opened with my my co-host claiming that thousands of lives have been ruined. The title of this article is, "Let's hope the Cass report is the end of making kids swap gender." But yeah, you know, I'm just, man, I only wish people could just get along. It reminds me of a post that I saw on Twitter the other day, which was a screenshot saying something like "every time," and the screenshot was of somebody on Twitter saying like, nobody is willing to have like a good like conversation anymore. Everyone's so partisan. And then there were more screenshots from their Twitter feed, and they were a Nazi, like full on Jew posting and everything, JQ posting. And it's like, it always is like that, isn't it? You know, it's always the most hateful people who hide behind the pretense of caring about impartial dialogue. Can we blame Murdoch for this? Yes.
Important piece of work, but I think it does raise some serious concerns that are pretty scandalous, actually. I think we've got to ask ourselves...
If a British person ever says this raises serious concerns, they're a Hitlerite. That is their Hitlerite phrase, okay? They might as well be reciting the 14 words.
You know, why is it that we've seen medical interventions that have been given on the basis of very weak evidence?
Yeah.
How is it that clinicians have been silenced or afraid to come forward? Why is it that a group of young people who are extremely vulnerable are waiting years to access treatment? And I think there's plenty of blame to go around. I'm pretty angry, actually, that despite this review having been commissioned, there are some NHS trusts that refuse to cooperate.
Yeah.
And I want to send a clear message to them that under a Labour government...
Under a Labour government. Was that motherfucker Labour? Was that guy Labour?
I think we should leave the ECHR.
Wait, who was that
and
guy?
we should put it...
Was that guy Labour? I don't recognize them all by face. Was that guy Labour?
No good use.
Yeah, that's Andy Burnham. Oh my god. Dude, you guys are so fucking cooked. Holy shit. That's not Burnham Lowell? Oh, then who is that? No, stop, that's not. That's Wes Streeting. That's the Shadow Health Secretary! That's literally the guy in charge of health under the British Labour Party, and he will be in charge after the next election. This guy. This is the guy who said he regrets saying trans women are women. That's your Labour Party. There you go. Dead country. Dead country. Oh, I see. Related to this. I'm a gold dude with the $5. Lonerbox is live reading the cast report. He has disagreements with you about both the intent and the conclusions you drew from it. Also, Vosh Rad. True. I don't want to argue about the intent. Like, I respect Lonerbox a lot for his opinions and his research and his analysis. He's a really smart guy, but he has a very different level of like trust and institutional power than I do. And I don't really care to argue intent. Like, it's like, it's unfalsifiable, obviously, right? I can't read anyone's mind. It certainly seems like the cast report is existing entirely in a way which is meant to bolster a partisan, politically motivated attack on trans people, you know? Which is, you know, sort of the whole damn point. Why would that make a good conversation, Bad Dragon Love 69? You should network more. You realize that networking is when you, like, form connections with people on shared issues. Bringing people on to debate them is pretty much the opposite of networking. What do you mean you should network more? I'm the least popular person on politics YouTube by a huge margin. There's literally no one else even remotely as controversial as me. What are you talking? Oh, I should network. Oh, my apologies, you know? The only barrier between me and a wide, you know, circle of friends and allies who share my values is my effort. Surely there's nothing else that gets in the way. Jesus Christ. You should net worth more? I should net worth more. Donate. Give me money. Yeah, that's not tribalist, but stuff like Lonerbox with shit takes Shakachu, Lonerbox 5. Yeah, honestly, you guys don't do me any favors anytime I have a disagreement with anyone by immediately, like, jumping down the... Like, I've seen people do that with Loner. I've seen people do that with Dylan Burns. Guys, no one else is me but me. There are, like, literally everyone else will have a different opinion than me on some stuff, you know? You guys get awfully fucking tribal real fucking quick sometimes, which makes it really difficult to maintain any good relations with anyone, because then anytime like, this has happened to me, I'm not joking, dozens of times over the course of my streaming career, where I will mildly disagree with someone on something, and people in chat will, like, go to them and be like, yo, Vosh is a pro... Wait, hold on. Audio and visual. They are both dumb, so who cares? I do. I'll show you how much I care. Idiot. I got insulted in here by saying that Lonerbox isn't a lit... Smarak 2, Lonerbox is a liberal. That is true. Dylan Burns is also a liberal. You know, I don't even mean that as an insult, it's just descriptive. Excuse me. Not everyone on our side of the aisle politically can believe in a greater, like, Shiite empire, you know? Not all of us are servants of the Ayatollah. Who gives a fuck who's a liberal or not? Well, I do, of course. It's pretty important. Because liberals are gay and cucked, you know? Jesus, Benjamin! Well, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, folks. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $500. I really, really appreciate that. Now I can buy one more of these shirts. Seriously, thank you. That's very, very kind of you. My God. Yeah, not even much of a message to respond to. Just incredibly fucking generous of you. Thank you very, very much. Jesus Christ. You said that it... No, I did, Benjamin. You know, it all went according to plan. Vosh, actually true. $120 shirts are too rich for my blood. Yeah, okay. You don't have to wear $120 shirts to be cool, okay? I got this. It was a gift for me, and I really like it. I only have one, and I get nervous every time I wear it because it's a sweater shirt, and I'm worried that, like, I'm gonna fuck it up, you know? It's not like a daily... A gift from me to me. Yeah, listen, okay, don't... The IRS, don't worry. Yeah, pessimist. To be honest, I just, like, I just don't care for the combativeness with other people. Like, I don't know. It accents your body well. Yeah. I think so, too. It's a little bit small, but you're meant to tuck it in with, like, higher waisted, you know? Like that, you know? But, yeah, like... I like the other way. Well, it depends on what you're tucking it into, right? If you had trousers, then it would be a little bit more fitting, I think. They have a few other, they have a few other colors of this that I like. They also have, and I normally would never even consider it, they have a navy... It's two things that I hate packed together. It's a navy blue shirt, and it's a polo shirt. But I actually think it's, like, really nice. Look, here they have a fossil color, which I think looks really nice, like a light brown. I think that looks super, super dope. They have a caramel. I really like that, though I like the color that I'm wearing more. They have yellow, because I love mustard. I love that mustard color. Look at that. Oh my god, that looks... Look at with the pinstripe. Holy shit, that looks good. No to the yellow? You're insane. You're a madman. Absolute madman. Anyway, I don't really like navy blue, but a knitted polo shirt sounds kind of nice because it wouldn't, like, dangle and flutter all around your waist, you know? You could have it kind of fit a little bit tight. You should get a suede bomber jacket. They're so expensive. A good one, at least. Exactly, Rifter. That's the argument I'm making. Hold on. I'm almost done with this, then we're moving on. Almost done. Almost done. Where's the... Yellow is the death of bold colors? You're dumb. Look at the powder blue polo that they have. I really like that too. I like that it has a nice spread collar. It would go over a light jacket. I think that's cool. Nice knitted sweater. Just heavier, basically. Oh, and they have these striped shirts. Look at how classic this looks. This is so 1950s. With the corduroy jacket. All right, anyway. We shouldn't linger too much. Vosh, how do you rate this suit? I like the subtle check pattern. Any suit that you could get for 130 pounds is probably not liable to fit you very well. That suit fits like that over exactly one person, and that's the model. You would need to go in and try stuff yourself, you know? I like the check blue, but the suit itself is going to be of indeterminate fit. Oh my god, can we please focus? I'm locked in right now. Maybe you should focus. Okay, hold on. The wind is going crazy outside. It's making a door blow. Hold on. Wow, it's like storm weather outside. That's crazy. I'm focused gets distracted by the wind. Hey, listen, okay? What happens to people who say, it was just the wind, all right? They get shot again with an arrow. Hey, you hear that? Came out of nowhere, huh? Yeah. All right.
Tonight, the secret
I'm hearing dastardly rumors that Republicans don't like abortion.
is out. The GOP mistakenly emailed their plan, and we have a copy of it. Our political editor, Dennis Welch, is here tonight taking us inside the strategy. Dennis, looking at this, reading through it, it appears quite confusing. Is that by design?
Yeah, and simply put, the Republican plan right now seems to be to undermine a citizens' initiative that enshrines access to abortion in the state constitution. That initiative has already been signed by more than 500,000 Arizona voters, and the GOP now considering ways to intentionally weaken support at the ballot box for the Arizona Abortion Access Act.
According to this leaked memo titled Legislative Strategies for Regulating Abortion, Republicans have a two-phase plan to defeat the citizens.
I like, this is still so insane to me because I know that this push is being done by, like, the most radical Republicans. Do you guys have any idea how hard left Arizona would switch if abortion got completely banned there? Like, seriously, like, if abortion, complete crackdown, do you know what the, like, the electoral consequences of that would be? The car is being driven by the evangelists? Yeah, they've grabbed the wheel and they're driving the whole fucking right-wing car off the cliff.
Abortion Access Initiative.
Arizona's already super purple. Arizona is, like, the most purple state. Well, maybe not the most, but it's very purple.
In November. Phase 1, Republicans would refer a separate measure to the ballot that constitutionally protects abortion restrictions that are already on the books. Unlike the proposed Arizona Abortion Access Act, the GOP proposal does not create a right to abortion. In addition, it would give the legislature the authority to make future changes, which could include stricter abortion regulations.
Okay, that actually makes sense because if you'll recall what's been going on in Arizona, remember the whole their Supreme Court has validated a 500-year-old law giving them the right to ban abortion, and then the Attorney General said that she's not going to enforce it. That made the right look really, really bad because what the right wants to do, the smart thing for the right to do, if they are going to take away abortion rights, is to do it slowly and quietly and, like, insidiously, you know? Not to do it loudly and aggressively. So that was very loud and very aggressive. It was so loud and aggressive that Carrie Lake, the craziest woman in Arizona, you know, the shadow government of the state of Arizona, said, despite endorsing that old law previously, that was too far, that was too much. So even the crazier Republicans understand that the full-throated, crazy, like, jump, dive in, insane attitude towards banning abortion doesn't work for them very well.
Regulations. Phase 2, titled Send Voters to Other Options That Conflict with the Abortion Access Act Initiative. Those options include a measure that bans abortions after 15 weeks and the Heartbeat Protection Act that outlaws the medical procedure after a heartbeat is detected in the unborn child.
Carrie Lake just turned around again. She supports it now. Did she really? She criticized it again, but then she endorsed again? Okay, whatever.
According to
Crazy
the memo,
bitch.
Republicans benefit from the two added measures because it would split and dilute support for the Abortion Access Act. As for what's not in the memo, any attempt to repeal the Civil War-era law that, when it goes into effect, will ban nearly all abortions.
And lawmakers, remember, do return to the Capitol this Wednesday when they could try to repeal that 1864 Abortion Act. It's unknown if they will, and if they do try, if they'll be successful. Guys.
Dennis, is it possible then that voters could have as many as 3 different abortion-related ballot initiatives to look at?
Like, no matter how this plays out, none of this is going to work out well at the ballot box for the right. I just have to say, like, just to make it clear, you know? Remarkable stuff.
Ballot, and then also, if that's true, what happens if they each get a majority?
Yeah, it looks like the way you're reading, you've got different phases there, that you could have multiple measures referred to the ballot. Now, remember, legislature, they don't have to collect ballots like the Citizens Initiative already
They don't have
does.
to connect signatures.
They don't have to
right?
get signatures.
Yeah.
They can just refer something to the ballot. And I think in the ballot order, they would be before the Citizens Initiative Act. So voters potentially would see that before they got down to the bottom of the ballot. And that's part of the strategy there. As far as what happens if all of them pass or all of them fail or there's a mixture.
We'll see how it goes, I guess. Not much else to say. Funny that they leaked the email. That rule's radically moderate. Why would the GOP be anti-marijuana? I don't understand. The GOP is insane. The GOP is so insane. They aren't even acting in their own interest at this point. They're not even being strategic. You ever notice how a lot of controversial issues are never really that divided? There's just a guy that shrieks and squeals about how much he wants to do the evil thing. Yeah, well, like I've said this before, it's informed simplicity, you know? When you're young and don't know anything, you think it's good versus evil. And then when you're kind of young and you know some things, you think, well, it's complicated, shades of gray, blah, blah. But then if you get older and actually take the time to understand these systems, no, it's actually really black and white a lot of the time. The nuance is in the application of like specifics of edge case stuff. Economic stuff tends to be pretty complicated, you know, always outsized effects there. But when it comes to most like big social debates, the stuff people care about, there are like basically objectively right or wrong answers, even by the moral systems of the people who are on the evil side. A lot of them have just been deluded into not understanding the factors at play, or they've been lied to about what's going on by a very small group of very powerful politicians and media moguls who are using it as a wedge to distract people from the economic rape that they're committing of the country. Yeah, that's, yeah, literally. Like, yeah, it's the whole thing. Simple as. OSINT Defender being used as evidence. The Biden administration is reportedly threatening to halt in funding and training for the 97th Netzya Yehuda Battalion of the IDF for claimed human rights violations. I until the media reports on this, I can't really speak to it. I can't really say. What's going on in Des Moines, Iowa? Let's find out. Huh? Wait, that was the page? Okay. Weird layout.
Has left our community of Iowa shattered, serving as a painful reminder that
I almost said Idaho. You guys caught me. I was hoping you didn't catch me on that one. But yeah, you know, you can't. Iowa and Idaho they aren't actually that similar sounding, but they're spiritually similar sounding.
it is imperative for our state legislator and government
Wow, you're like
to
5.
look beyond partisan lines of politics and to enact common sense gun legislation. And now, another school shooting at Perry. All we hear are more words and empty sympathy and offering of thoughts and prayers. All talk but no action. Enough with the prayers, enough with the inaction. It is time for common sense legislation.
So this is about a student protest. What are they protesting exactly? In Idaho, the GOP has passed a bill allowing teachers to arm themselves. Nice. Whether schools want it or not. Can I get a single article that isn't paywalled? It's fucking Idaho, okay? Come on. How much money do you think people are willing to pay here? Here we go.
There's a rather long list of people and stakeholders who are against House Bill 415. But almost all House Republicans, well, they support the bill. It passed the floor today, 53-16, with only a few in the majority party giving it a red light. It's now halfway to the governor's desk, even though the Idaho Parent Teachers Association, the Idaho Education Association, and even the Idaho Association of School Resource Officers have spoken against it. House Bill 415 would allow school staff, including volunteers, to conceal carry.
Volunteers
All they need
too?
is an enhanced concealed carry permit. And enhanced, well, makes it sound like that should mean getting one shouldn't be easy. Well, Andrew Bartline shows us exactly what that means.
Aside from the flagpole out front, Independence indoor shooting shares few visuals with a school. Though Mike Vasquez
We want to be proponents of continuing your education.
might be best described as a teacher,
I've been the academy director for about 3 months.
offering a diverse caliber of classes. But one round now highlights the magazine.
We have the enhanced conceal and carry.
He said Idaho every... Wait, did I type in Idaho? Oh my god. Chat, how did none of you guys catch me? It's both of them? Okay, never mind. I take it all back. Iowa and Idaho are the same state. Are you kidding me? At the same time they're passing this bill? Okay. All right, okay. That's why he's the GOAT. Yeah, you guys couldn't tell the difference, so does the difference even exist? Does the difference matter? I say no. Jesus Christ. Merge Idaho and Iowa now. We just need to create a very thin panhandle that snakes across, the entire the Central America, not Central America, fucking the center of America, the Great Plains. They're already the most boring states. Yeah, true. Now this just feels too silly to cover. God damn it. It's being reported in multiple legit news sites. So then people should link multiple legit news sites rather than OSINT Defender, huh? In first, U.S. said poised to sanction IDF unit for alleged rights violation in West Bank. That's awesome. This doesn't mean anything, though. This is just another one of those inept, like, reaching to the moderates, bullshit maneuvers from the Biden administration to try to convince their left-leaning constituency that they're not quite as Hitlerite as they seem to be. Like, they're only doing this in the West Bank. Keep in mind, by the way, that over the entirety of the war in Gaza, the West Bank has been subject to constant seizures, raids, murders. Netanyahu has put money forward to fund settlements being placed across it. They're taking the opportunity to purge the entirety of the West Bank in addition to the Gaza Strip, And the Biden administration has been doing this like, okay, that's one thing, that's another. We sanction what's going on in the West Bank, but still endorsing what's happening in the Gaza Strip. So, fuck them. The sanctions would bar the transfer of U.S. weapons to the ultra-Orthodox infantry unit and prevented soldiers from training with U.S. forces or taking part in any activities with U.S. funding. In a way, this is almost more cucked, because imagine how it makes the United States look that they are supplying billions of dollars of weapons to a military that is so radically bad that they feel a need to sanction specific units of it. Like, what a weird relationship that is. Yeah, we're going to give them billions of dollars to continue the massacre in the Gaza Strip, but these other guys are so bad that, like, we're going to sanction them. It's insane. What was the last historical example of America being a cucked ally to another country that was so morally abhorrent they felt the need to sanction people and military units from it? So weird. I think Chile under Pinochet was sanctioned. Yeah, but we didn't support Chile the same way that we support Israel now. Like, don't get me wrong, we got Pinochet in there, yeah, but we weren't giving him billions of dollars. Wait, were we? Hold on. America's committed so many horrid crimes in Latin America that I never want to make statements like that too confidently. Did we give them billions of dollars in weapons? I don't think we did, but maybe. Did we? Operation Condor, we assassinated people. Yeah, but that was covert. I'm talking about open. I'm talking optics here. Open, aggressive support, blocking UN resolutions that they don't want passing, giving them billions in weapons. I can't think of any other example of this like relationship between sanctioning and insanely aggressive public, like, you know, glazing. This is that ultra-Orthodox unit. The purpose of this unit is to allow Haredi Jewish men to serve as combat soldiers in the Israeli military by creating an atmosphere conducive to their religious convictions. Huh. Over 1,000 soldiers. Religious accommodations. The battalion's motto is something I probably can't pronounce, but it means, "And your military camp shall be holy." A phrase taken from the Torah describing the importance of keeping a Jewish military camp free of sin or ritualistically unclean objects. Jewish dietary laws. The only women permitted on these bases are wives of soldiers and officers. Voluntary basis and does not draft soldiers. And naturally, they've spent their entire fucking time dicking around in the West Bank and the Golan Heights. There you go. Yeah. What do you do when you create like an ultra right-wing, ultra orthodox IDF battalion? They spend all their time there, obviously. Just attack them on Saturday? True. They have a backup battalion that steps in and provides guard on Saturday. That's their like rest point. Yeah, the most fasci like to stay behind the lines. The most aggressively fascist military units throughout history have not wanted to participate in the front lines. They've wanted to participate in the occupation, you know? Like, because the thing that fascists get off to isn't dying in combat, it's stepping on the throats of the subhumans that they want to conquer the land of, right? Like, you know, the SS officers in Germany weren't the ones out there in the front line usually. They were in the occupied areas, like supervising the Holocaust, rounding up Jews and homosexuals and what have you. The most aggressive fascists are given the privilege and reward of crushing the inferior, because that is what fascism is about. Fascism is a system that emphasizes hierarchy, and those high on the hierarchy are given the privilege of very evidently demonstrating their privilege over others. Many such cases. You saw the exact same shit happen in Rhodesia, you know? Stuff like that. Apparently the SS itself wasn't great in combat. Well, no, they were ideologues. A lot of the SS were literally just like high-ranking officers, the sons of officers. They were people with like connections. They were wealthy. They were people who wanted to dress up in their big leather stomping boots and like hunt for Jews. That was like that. Yeah, they weren't like an elite fighting unit at all. That the SS were not at all like a highly disciplined. This is like another big Nazi myth, you know, like the idea that they were like the elite of the elite. No, they weren't. They absolutely weren't. That'd be like saying the American cops are the elite of the elite. Like, what's the IQ requirement for being a cop? Remembering to breathe? Yeah, like, no, they're just the people given the shiny badge. The Waffen-SS were a comparatively elite fighting force, the Wehrmacht. Yeah, but keep in mind that the Wehrmacht were, like, drafting 14-year-olds towards the end of the war, so... Holy shit, it is really windy out there. Yes, the cops have an IQ limit sometimes. Wait, what? I said it's windy. The arrows are not going to get you? You don't know that. And righties gloat that communism has never worked, Lamau. Well, I mean, you know, the Soviets did win the war, so... Yeah, foreign volunteers are almost always the most ideologically radical of any group. But the Foreign Legion of any army is always Hitler. The French Foreign Legion, Hitlerites, all of them. Foreign legionnaires means like these are people who were living otherwise like comfortable lives free of conflict in another country, and they wanted to put their lives on the line in order to be part, usually, of a colonial project. In fact, the IDF battalion we just looked at, it literally said in the wiki article that they primarily recruit from foreigners. Because the kinds of people who would want to do that sort of thing, like it would be like a privilege for them to do it from another country, you know? They would be like the biggest ideologues. They're not normal people. They're people willing to go out of their way. Yeah, it's the same deal with Catholic converts, exactly, you know? Like, not every person born in Israel is like a crazy diehard fascist, just half of them. You know, but if you're willing to travel to Israel from fucking America to serve in its military, you're probably some kind of lunatic. What about the Ukrainian Foreign Legion? The Ukrainian Foreign Legion, as I understand it, does have like a pretty broad swath of like... The main problem with the Ukrainian Foreign Legion being naturally Hitlerite is the fact that they're fighting against Russia, which is a like Hitlerite country, right? That being said, the Ukrainian Foreign Legion and in fact the Ukrainian military have had well, they don't have no Nazis, you know? There aren't zero Nazis in those institutions. Ironically, it was the French SS Legion that defended the Reichstag to the last. I don't think that's ironic at all. Because think about it. Who would be the most insane, psychotic fucking members of the SS? That's right. French racists who signed up in under French occupation. Those would be it, right? Like, think about France in the 1940s. Incredibly racist. They have their boots on the neck of like 50 African countries, you know? Like, think of, there are plenty of Frenchmen at the time. It would have been like, oh yeah, the Nazis, you know, whatever. As long as I get to keep being a white supremacist. They would have been some of the most ideological converts. And the most vicious Nazis were the Croatians. As always, you know, white people are the white people, unlike the French and Croatians, are the least effective white supremacists. Just like over here in America, the most effective white supremacists are Mexican. Many such cases. Sheesh. Having escaped out of Berlin, Finet with a small remainder of his unit surrendered to British forces at Bad Kleinen and Wismar. Some of the Frenchmen, such as Finet, were turned over to the Soviet army. 12 of those turned over to French authorities by the U.S. Army were summarily executed by orders of General Philippe Leclerc de Roqueluc. I know that wasn't even close, but I'm sticking to it. Also, look at this. This is kind of a rarity. Finet was allowed to be treated for his foot wound at a hospital. He was then returned to a Soviet POW camp for a short time later released. Most of the rest who made it to France were apprehended and sent to Allied prisons and camps. Finet was arrested upon his return to France. In 1949, he was convicted of being a collaborator and sentenced to 20 years of forced labor, but released from prison in 1959. Huh. Soviet POW camp is not a nice place to be. Yeah, if he was kept in the POW camp, he probably would have died there. Deserved? Oh yeah, for sure deserved. Vosh, you put too much saliva in your French. I've been told I do that a lot. Yeah, use more nasal. Thank you, random Quebecois guy. I appreciate that. So many Nazi war criminals got sent to prison for like 20 to 30 years, then let the fuckers go after 5. Yeah, the Soviets definitely treated the Nazi prisoners the worst when given the chance, which is probably a pretty big dub, you know. Then they did that whole ethnic displacement of Germanic people back to the borders of Germany, which was, you know, a big dab. To this day, the remains of a Belgian collaborator aren't allowed to return to Belgium by law, this piece of shit. That's so fucking based. I think there should be more, like, insane laws like that that don't mean or do anything, but are just purely about symbolism. I ain't reading all that. Yeah, banished even in death. Most of the Germans were there for centuries. Yeah, the Soviet relocation of Germanic people back to the borders of Germany was probably definitely not good. My sympathies are lessened, you know, somewhat, mostly on account of the whole World War II just ended thing, but it was mostly just like a virtue signal. It was politically popular in a lot of these countries to get rid of Germanic people, considering what Germany had just done. So, yeah. Oh, I know, King Jar Jar. Were they harmed? Oh, yeah, they were. Wasn't it an ethnic cleansing? Yeah, but it just okay. Look, just to be clear, I don't fully support what the Soviets did there, but please do keep in mind a lot of the Germanic populations outside of Germany, even though they'd been there for a while, were very pro-Germany when World War II happened. Active collaborators, they were benefiting from the occupation of the German army in those countries, you know. They were like, woo, here's our time, you know. Not all of them. I don't think that means group punishment is acceptable. I think it's bad. I think it's ethnic cleansing. All I'm saying was that a lot of the people who got ethnically cleansed were probably Nazis. Okay, that's it. All right, that's all. Not saying it's good. You get me. All right, too much history for one day, K. Comrade Robin Hood. The Soviets literally continued the use of the concentration camps. What? I don't know what that has to do with what I said. I'm not exactly pro-Soviet. Would you recommend using a dead rapper voice in a diss? If not, with the artistic I have no idea what you're talking about, Korsnor. I have no idea at all. Oh, sure, Kowalski from Nebraska. The ethnic Germans that were out that fucking far around Stalingrad. Yeah, I was talking about the ones that were near Germany. Yeah, but there were plenty of Nazis in actual Germany too, which didn't end up being a problem requiring the relocation of millions of them. Intelligent donkey, we didn't just relocate millions of people in Germany, we firebombed them. No, this is a historical debate over which I have no interest. We might as well start debating the firebombing of Dresden, okay? Do you want to know the truth? We dabbed in the Nazis, and that's what matters. There are no lessons to be learned here. The relocations of the Germans after World War II wasn't some, like, depraved act of like colonialism or barbarism against a minority population. It was a politically popular act against a population that was more so than any other population ever before. Pretty Hitlerite, you know? But the Soviets did lots of stuff that I disagree with. It's not like the Germans were the only ethnic group that got moved around a bunch by the Soviets, you know? I have no opinion on it, Korsnor. Do you think war can ever not include innocent civilian casualties? I have no idea how you would conduct a proper war without it. You guys are still doing it. Oh my God. Some of you in chat, you guys are literally doing the thing right now. Did you know that there were innocent Germans? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Do you understand how you sound? What point are you trying to make? Go into any comment section on any social media site and start talking about innocent Germans killed in the firebombing of Dresden. Who do you think's going to rush to your side? Like, think about it for a second. Yes, like I've already said 20 times, it was bad. It was ethnic cleansing. What do you want from me? You want to, like, just be contrarian, like, argue the point further? Like, well, you say it was bad, but, like, it was bad. Thank you for your insight. Just think for a second, okay? Innocent people die in every single war ever. And also, I'm not pro-Soviet. It's been a while since it has, Pretty Kitty. Thank you, No Wonder. All right. No, Lily Creme. The reason why I haven't covered the J.K. Rowling thing is because now that it's no longer just happening, it feels rather trite, you know? One more segment out of a dozen to cover the same basic information over and over and over again. I don't really even have much to say about it from like a segment perspective, just that we're getting kind of the, what is it called? The Streisand effect? Is that the term that I'm thinking of? Is it something else? The something effect? The, is it the Streisand effect? Yeah, you're right. Okay. I didn't remember. About what, 4 or 5 days ago. So in the UK, here, beep. In the UK, they don't have free speech. Like, kind of seriously. If you listen to edgy podcasters who are based in the United Kingdom, they have to censor or qualify a lot of their statements. Basically, it's very easy for people to do free speech slap suits, where if you say anything mean about a person, a wealthy person can just like slap you down. You know, stop doing that, meh, because they have the money. They might even be a billionaire, you know, and they can keep you from saying mean stuff about them. Anyway, J.K. Rowling, I'm an American, so I can say what I want. J.K. Rowling has been doing genocide denial by actively denying the idea that the Nazis targeted trans people. The reason she's doing this is because, A, she doesn't want it to be obvious how similar her positions are to the Nazis on trans people. They're pretty damn similar, right? Like, like prescriptively, they're pretty damn similar. And secondly, you know, she doesn't like those comparisons being drawn as part of like the broader ideology she holds. Maybe she personally doesn't understand it. She honestly doesn't seem that bright to me. I don't know. But there was a bit of a hubbub because, so after she tweeted this, the Nazis burnt books on trans healthcare and research. Why are you so desperate to uphold their ideology around gender? And she responded, how? How did you type this out and press send without thinking, I should maybe check my source for this because it might have been a fever dream? Now, I think this is much more obviously Holocaust denial if we substitute in Jews for trans people. After all, the Nazis targeted and killed both, after all, right? So if there was a tweet that said, by the way, no likes on this tweet, 5 views, J.K. Rowling really using her massive wealth and influence the best, huh? If the tweet said, the Nazis burnt books on Jewish history, why are you so desperate to uphold their ideology around Judaism? And J.K. Rowling responded with this, I think everyone would clearly interpret that as Holocaust denial, right? Like, obviously. Like, what incentive would J.K. Rowling have to deny the fact that the Nazis burnt books on Jewish history, right? Like, that, yeah, clearly Holocaust denial. She did this exact same thing with trans people and, you know, off to the race. So, after that, a bunch of people called her a Holocaust denier, because she is, and she, for some of them, exercised her enormous wealth and power and shut them down. There was one particular tweet, oh, it's even linked in the article. On the 13th of March, I tweeted that J.K. Rowling, quote, is a Holocaust denier, end quote. That allegation was false and offensive. I have deleted it and apologized to J.K. Rowling. So, 0 people saw this and thought this was sincere, right? We know how the law works in the UK. This is being done because she received a legal threat, you know? In fact, if we go look at the tweet itself, this tweet, which has blocked all replies, has 22.5 million views. So you guys can probably figure how people responded to this, right? This attempt to shut down the discourse on J.K. Rowling being a Holocaust denier just massively inflamed it. Like, enormously so. Because she can't shut down everyone. Her ability to do so is limited to the UK. It's the Streisand effect. You know, you try to keep people from calling you a Holocaust denier. Somebody makes a very public indication that you're attempting to do that with the UK equivalent of a slap suit. Everyone runs off with it. And then there was days more of discourse. Everything that can be said about J.K. Rowling, I've kind of already said, to be honest. Like her ideology is probably best laid out in the Shaun video, Shaun, Harry Potter. Because you get a pretty deep... Actually, Shaun has a number of good videos on J.K. Rowling that as I remember having watched them, I found pretty agreeable. I thought they were pretty correct. I don't have any memory of disagreeing with anything in those videos. And it lays out her ideology. And if you ever want like a good example of the whole scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds formula being demonstrated, like that, those are really good. Those are good videos to watch while reflecting on that, you know, because underneath liberalism, in a lot of cases, there are views on like institutional normalcy and justified hierarchy that, if questioned, consolidate to defend themselves really, really, really quickly. And I think that's in large part what we're seeing here, in addition to all the other turfery nonsense. And, you know, we've gone over J.K. Rowling so many times. So many people have. I think that's kind of the point, right? Nobody reads J.K. Rowling's books anymore. Like, nobody reads her Galbraith books. The book that she wrote, taking on the pen name of, what was it? The guy who invented conversion therapy? Was that the person that I'm thinking of? Robert Galbraith? Yeah. Well, no matter how many times I repeat it, it's still so insane to me. That it's like, yeah, here we go. Robert Galbraith Heath. He claimed to have converted a homosexual man to heterosexuality using cock and ball torture or something. I don't know. Yeah, he was big on the whole torturing people into being straight business. So J.K. Rowling has said that's a coincidence, which that she would choose this pen name, that she would write under a male pen name and choose this name. She said it's a coincidence. You can believe her if you want, whatever. But nobody reads those books, like, at all. Seriously. You can take a look at their sales figures. Didn't she originally write them under that pen name without announcing that she was J.K. Rowling, and they didn't take off until after she announced it? They weren't doing well in their own merits, that's for sure. And even now, they're just not much engagement. When was the last time you heard anybody talk about these books in any context other than, look at how this makes J.K. Rowling look bad? I'm serious. Like, have you ever seen a person errantly on social media refer to a character or an event in it? Like, we're talking about one of the most successful authors of all time, a billionaire for her writing, not a peep on any of these books. Yeah. I straight up didn't know she'd written any other books, Lamau. I've heard they're trash. But I'm not going to read them to investigate that, of course, and I'm not much of a reader anyway, so I'm probably a bad judge of book character. Yeah, but, you know, I just... It goes along with the Holocaust denier thing, right? J.K. Rowling's association with Harry Potter is now forever going to be thought of as a kind of like tenuous thing. More people watch the movies, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I remember reading that at some point, than read the books. So for a lot of people, the direct association they make to Harry Potter is not J.K. Rowling and her writing, but rather the actors who played the main three, right? Oh God. The guys, the squad. Okay, you remember Ron, Hermione, and Harry. The Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, of course. I don't know the name of the third one. Rupert Grint. Okay, right. People see those faces, they think of Harry Potter. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. Don't come after me. You know, in the book that, or sorry, in the YouTube video that Sean did on Harry Potter, he also talks about all the differences between the movie and the books. Like, most notably, the whole Hermione elf slavery bit, you know. But there was a lot of stuff that got left out, like a lot of the meanness. And I think people remember the movies like more whimsically and more fondly than they do the books, in large part because of stuff like that. I can say personally, when I was young, because I was young at the time, and my parents got them for me, I read the Harry Potter books. I read all but the last one, I think. I know I read the Cursed Print, Half-Blood Prince, and the... Yeah, I know I read that one. I don't know if I read anything past that. I mean, I was a kid. I liked them, you know. And I watched the movies, and I remember liking some of the movies, too, at least when I was younger. And that's the memory that I have now. I don't think people are going to remember J.K. Rowling for very much besides this, you know? She's decided to become a very active advocate for a hate movement in such a transparent and aggressive way, too. I mean, Holocaust denial? Jesus. She can't even do that classically British thing where she just, like, asks questions and has concerns. She did that for the first, like, year and a half, but after that, it's all been, like, Heil Hitler from her, you know? I don't know. That too, Muck, yeah. Imagine being a billionaire and this is how you spend your time. Yeah, no, it's genuinely quite sad. I think that in addition to Elon Musk are maybe the best examples we have of how fucking miserable being hateful makes you. In fairness, Elon Musk always seems to have been miserable because he's stupid and a megalomaniac, or a narcissist and a megalomaniac, you know? So maybe he was predestined for misery. But the hate movement thing doesn't really serve to their interest much either. Like, nobody benefits from this. It's a sickness. I really do think it is. It's a sickness of the mind. Transphobia is a sickness of the mind, you know? It is an internal sickness that one projects outward. There is no innate, like, value or statement to be made on the idea of a trans person. There's no, like, it's not like a rotting piece of fruit in the woods that we've evolved to consider it something repellent, you know? It's entirely socially conditioned. At most, you might defer to some kind of like innate tribalism, the way that people were throughout history innately suspicious of people with different skin tones just because they hadn't seen the different skin tone. And, you know, you can overcome that really easily just by like befriending one person of a different skin tone. And nowadays you see them on TV anyway, so fucking who cares? But what tribalism could you invoke, really, with trans people? Like, it doesn't really fit into that category. There's not like a separate tribe of them. They just are with us. It's like homosexuality, you know? It's an internal sickness that people project outwards, and she is very, very, very sick. Joshy the Lib, I agree that J.K. Rowling's transphobia has been institutionally accepted in the UK, but I think that's only because, and I think I could be off on this, but hear me out as I pitch my theory, okay? The UK is a dead country and an empire that has declined to non-existence. I think one of the reasons why transphobia is so big at the upper levels of the UK, in their politics, in their media, is because of J.K. Rowling. I think that J.K. Rowling is one of the only cultural exports of the British people. You know? The only one left. Like, what does the UK produce that other people care about anymore? There is James Bond, right? But even that's tenuous, you know? Like, James Bond is absolutely a British cultural product. Doctor Who. Okay, I'll take Doctor Who. I've never cared much for Doctor Who personally, but for sure. And you know what? And I think that the British aristocracy care quite a bit about Doctor Who, don't they? And about James Bond. You know, there's quite a lot of like cultural management there, I think. Like there's a lot of pride. The same way that Canada makes an effort to produce some of its own TV rather than just ripping off our airwaves all the time, you know? I think it's natural for a government to want to rep things that are made in that country. I think that's pretty normal. It seems to happen everywhere. There's just kind of innate like tribalism to that sort of national pride. All the big British actors just end up coming over here and putting on an American accent in our movies. Well, we have Hollywood. Yes, we have Hollywood. That is true. I think that in terms of living, breathing, active advocates that people care about, J.K. Rowling is one of the biggest, or was one of the largest at least, that the UK had to boast. And I think that her transphobia shaped the direction the government went in quite a bit. I think that her wealth and her power were a kind of like a guideline in a way that sort of like gave them the feeling that they were all in on this. I don't think that's the only factor. I just think that's part of it. Either way, that's just in the UK. It's not the case anymore. I thought great man theory was wrong. Well, I think the material forces still explain this, but there are some people who make, bigger wakes in history than others, of course. All right, wonderful. Guys, you've been having fun. You've been sitting pretty with your goddamn streams and your politics streams. But what if I told you that the politics has only just begun? What if I told you that you need to sit down and listen to a conversation for 10 minutes? Okay, hold on. You have to. You're not allowed to leave.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today, Vosh?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great. It's been a long time since we chatted.
Yeah, no kidding. We have some time to make up for. I hear that there are wacky plans on the horizon.
There are. And I would love to just give you and your audience an update on PV in general, if you're up for it.
Oh, yeah, please.
So for those of you who haven't been acquainted with me, my name is Sam. I'm the executive director of Progressive Victory, which we have a long and beautiful history with Vosh and his community, going back to the 2022 elections when we worked together really, really closely, and in about 2 months created 5,100 shift signups for volunteering in the elections and contacted 290,000 voters. And right after that, 60 people from our community came out to help the senator from Georgia get reelected. And ever since then, we've been doing more and more work. We were active in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. We helped stop a 15-week abortion ban in Virginia. And now we're gearing up for 2024. And there's a lot of work to do, both in the primaries and in the general.
Yeah, we being me and my community, we've been lazy, we've been sleeping. We got to get back into it. 5 million signups.
So our goals for this year are huge. We want to get to 100,000 people in our community, and we want to get to 20 million voter contacts by the end of the election.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. And it starts now. Right. So there's a lot of stuff that I think you've mentioned on stream that's really important that's on the horizon. I'm here for a couple of very urgent asks right now. Things that need to get done immediately.
Gosh. Okay.
Things that need to get done if we want to build progressive power and if we want to see candidates on the left be successful. And also things to do to build for the summer, opportunities that can actually be a career opportunity for folks if they're into it.
Mm-hmm.
So should I start with the urgent progressive candidate, or should I start with the career opportunities?
Oh, the urgent one probably sounds important.
Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, so you may be familiar with a person named Summer Lee. Are you familiar with Summer Lee Bosch?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. I know you are because I remember the reason why I contacted you so aggressively in the summer of 2022 is because I remember you did a stream about how excited you were when Summer Lee won her primary.
Yeah, she seemed pretty damn cool. And she has a very memorable name, which is great for me, because normally I can't keep them apart in my head, you know? All the candidates that are, like, running across the country. But, like, that's the key, right? The actual effective politics. It's not, like, the presidential every 4 years. It's focusing on, like, those key races when you get the chance.
Yeah, yes. And the amazing thing is that because she is such a good representative, she's been great since she's been in office, by the way. Mm-hmm. Because she's so effective, they try all kinds of crazy, dirty tricks against her. And right now, her primary is in a couple of weeks, and there are people the big money folks, all the people who don't like her, including AIPAC, are putting up a candidate to try to beat her in the primary. And her primary she is the first primary of a major progressive that major progressive member of Congress in this primary election. And it's really, really close. It's Tuesday. That's her election. It's Tuesday the 23rd.
I don't know if I'd be able to run out there that fast.
Well, right now, what we're doing is that you have to run real fast, or you and your audience could come and phone bank with us.
Chat?
We've got a phone bank. Sorry?
Oh no, I'm chat. I'm looking at chat.
Oh,
got to make sure they're paying attention.
Too. Chat, pay attention. We've got an opportunity for a phone bank on Sunday, tomorrow, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific. Monday, 5:30 Eastern Time. That's 2:30 Pacific.
Give me the link. I know you have one, so I can spam it in chat.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me the link. It's progress.win/Lee. I'm just going to send it to you right now.
Gotcha.
Progress.win/Lee. And then on Tuesday, her election day, 5:30 Eastern Time again. And this would be 2:30 Pacific. And the reason why these are so important and so fun is because we can get, like, I don't know if any of you in the audience, any of you who are in chat, if you want to just talk about what your experience is like in a PV phone bank, feel free to do so now. Because in my experience, it's a party. Everybody's there, everybody's having fun, and then afterward, we jump into a VC and have a game night. We played many a putt-putt after a phone bank. So you should come hang out, meet other progressives, and help elect Summer Lee.
Yeah, no, I again, like, I have heard, like, uniformly, like, not at all mixed, like 100% positive experiences, both in phone banking broadly and in the community, joining with the Discord and everything. If you're watching, you know, obviously this is like a call to, and everyone always rolls their eyes at those a little bit, but I have still, like, over the 2 years that this has been sort of relevant to the community, heard nothing but good things from people who join up and who phone bank and what have you. Those numbers rack up pretty big too, you know? And obviously when it comes to participation and stuff like this, there are never any guarantees for success at, like, the level you're at now, but over the long run, with enough people, like, you get a kind of, like, collective credit for anything good that happens, and on a long enough time scale, often in the case of Progressive Victory, one race, you know, you end up getting to feel good about something forever, basically. You can look, you know, you can look at the legislature and point and go, hey, I did that.
That's right. And that's actually the most important part of democracy, is understanding that you are taking charge not only of your own destiny, but of the destiny of your community and your country. And it's a really empowering feeling. That's what got me into politics in the first place. I've been working in politics for 20 years. And I can tell you, It's because it feels powerful to engage in democracy. It feels powerful. We are surrounded by media telling us that destruction is inevitable, doom is inevitable, everything is going to fall apart, and that we have no power to stop it. And this type of work is the evidence, all the evidence you need to the contrary. And you can feel it in your body. When you do that, you can feel that confidence grow. That's how I feel whenever I get done doing a phone bank. And you can meet other people who feel like you and who are going to be just as excited to do the work. So, progress.win/lead. Sign up for a phone bank now. We've got 3 in the next 3 days leading up to her election.
Yeah, I spammed the links. Seriously, guys, those numbers rack up pretty goddamn well. I'd really appreciate it if you guys at least give it a try. Even if you can only do one of the time slots, it would be, enormously appreciated. And I think you'll find it more rewarding than you might expect if you haven't done it before.
And right after Summer Lee, we're also going to be doing phone banking for Angela Alsobrooks, who's running in Maryland. And I want to push Summer Lee because it's a little more urgent, and we can do Alsobrooks a little bit later. But I just want to mention that as well. But we're going to have tons of events coming up over the next month. Or anybody who wants to jump in now, you can get involved now, and then if you like it, you can just keep going. We've got progressive candidates for miles.
Yeah, and it's the easiest, it's the easiest place to put your foot down. The most powerful people in local politics are the ones who show up at town hall meetings to loudly voice an opinion, infinitely more powerful than any individual random citizen who just votes in local municipal elections, and this is like that level on an electoral basis, vastly more effective than doom scrolling on Twitter, which I imagine many of you spend most of your time doing anyway. This will be a better use of your time than that.
Stop doom scrolling. Get calling. Summer Lee, so let me tell you about her issues too, because I think that if you're listening and you consider yourself on the left, you're probably going to be pretty excited about this. So here is her record. Her biggest issues are expanding voting rights and access, making sure that anybody who wants to cast a vote can. She signed on to the Green New Deal, Medicare for all. She is a very big protector of reproductive choice, and she's a big sponsor of a universal school meals program. So this is the type of candidate that we need in office. This is the type of representative we need in office, and they're trying to get her out. They don't want her there. We're going to keep her there. Our work is going to do that. So progress.win/lead.
Yeah, 100%. A conglomeration of evil people are all sitting in a cigar smoke filled room with a single light beaming down on a conference table, watching you doom scroll on Twitter, and they're all cackling because you're wasting your time. You're falling right into their plot.
You can picture steepled fingers rapping against each other and on the tabletop as they giggle to themselves in glee at the idea that they'll be able to get candidates like Summer Lee out of office.
Oh, 100%. So speaking of building power.
Yeah. So the second thing I wanted to talk about, this is very, very exciting. The last 2 years, we've mostly been doing things virtually out of our Discord, which is super. I mean, honestly, it's the coolest place that I hang out. I usually just find myself trying to go back there and hang out whenever I have a free moment. So those of you who are a part of the Discord, hopefully you understand what I'm talking about, just how fun it is to spend time with people in there. But we also are expanding our footprint to actual, real, physical grass locations and physical buildings for this year.
Oh, Jesus.
This is something new for us.
Those grants coming out hot, huh?
Well, this is a really high priority program. So, a lot of things that we're planning this year involve bringing streamers to locations to turn out huge numbers of people to knock tons and tons of doors, as you know. And I'm very excited to see you at some of these locations.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's going to happen. Chat, we're going to get them out. We're going to get them to show up at an actual location.
after 5 years, I finally have to do it. All right.
I think you have to do it.
I've been shopping lately. Okay, at least I'll be dressed well.
Yeah, as long as your drip is on point, I think you can hold your head high. So anyway, because we are organizing these very large events, we also need to have teams on the ground to prepare. And a lot of the people organizing this are doing so, these types of events are doing so remotely, but we also need to have people who build these local connections with political organizations, who get to know the territory, who get to be experts in canvassing, who can help train the other folks as they show up. We did an event in February that was partnered with Destiny and DGG, where we brought in 300 people just for a listening canvas, where we talked to 300 people. We brought in 300 people and talked to 40,000 voters in just a weekend.
Jesus. Hey, wait,
Yes.
how many people got brought in?
300 people showed up.
Nice.
In February in Cincinnati, Ohio. And the only reason why that worked is because we had a team of 8 people who'd been canvassing for a couple of weeks already and knew the locations and were there ready to train all those people when they showed up. And so we are building a canvas house program across the country in the following states: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, and we're keeping the house in Ohio.
That's all the states. I think that's all
Yes.
of them.
And there are a couple more we may add too, right? So Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, Ohio. If you are interested in getting paid a very small amount of money over the summer and early fall to knock doors full-time, or not full-time, but 40 hours a week, and do as much work as you possibly can to help elect candidates that represent our values, then you should apply.
Yeah, guys, I highly recommend giving this a shot if you're in the area or if it is possible for you to do this. First of all, just like from a self-interested perspective, you know, this is like a jumping off career point. You know, the knowledge that you gain here can be super useful if you have any interest. Like if you're signing up for any kind of humanities work, if you would plan to do work for an NGO in the future, if you are otherwise unoccupied, at the very least, I'd encourage you to look into it. Because like when it comes to finding jobs, like then and now, it's always been about connections and name dropping and experience. And if you have experience in, say, for example, full-time canvassing in the lead up to a successful election, that is a level of experience that most campaign staffers would salivate over when doing their hiring. It is pretty cool to be given the opportunity. So I recommend you look into it.
This is how everybody gets their start. This is how I got my start. You just go show up and start organizing, and you get drawn into a career in politics if you want it. Right? This is the avenue, and the Democratic Party needs us. The Democratic Party needs you. They have, like, the millennials are all getting old and having babies. They need young people to come in and help manage these elections, and they don't have a pipeline right now. They don't know how to reach young people. They don't know how to reach young people anymore. And they don't understand that this is the place to find motivated people who want to make the world a better place.
Also, I just want to say we're playing ball in a very rigged field right now too, because not only do Republicans generally have a bad ground game, a lot of these state Republican parties are running desperately low on funds, and the demographic placement of different voter groups means that canvassing innately favors us, because in urban environments where people are more likely to vote blue, you can hit a bunch of houses in a row, whereas a disproportionately rural grouping of Republican voters makes it virtually impossible to reach them except at the very, very local level. Like, this is a field where we have an advantage too. So the odds of it turning favorably, like, when was the last time anyone heard of a really successful youth-driven ground game by the GOP? I genuinely can't recall. It's almost always done by activist groups, or at the very least Democrats.
And well, the Democratic Party is built for a strong field game. That's the basis of our entire operation, the Democratic Party. I'm just telling you that's how it is. The Republicans really don't do as much field organizing as we do. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the labor pool is empty, and we like if you have ever thought about working in politics, now is the time to get involved, because there's a giant sucking sound right now that the party is trying to hoover people in, and they don't know where to go to find these people. And it's the type of thing that you may not want to work in politics long term, but if you've got nothing else going on and you want to get involved, this is an opportunity. It is. It's how I got involved. It's how I started volunteering on a campaign, and I ended up working for 2 decades now in this, and never looked back. So I can't lie to you all.
That was another job opportunity that just came in on the phone, by the way, from all the canvassing that you've done.
Sorry. So I can't lie to you all that this is not a well-paying opportunity. It's only $500 a month, but everybody gets free food and lodging for the entire time they're working, and it's the type of thing that you can form friendships for life. I'm still friends with all the people I worked with as a 22-year-old on campaigns. I'm now 40, so been a long time, but that's how long these friendships can last.
Yeah, also, in fairness, what with the cost of groceries and rent going up, having food and lodging covered plus 500 might just leave people with 500 more than they would otherwise have after.
It's possible.
After a month's work. Yeah, really though, guys, don't think of it as like a regular job opportunity. You know, there are so and so many people watching now. There will be so and so many more people who watch the video when this gets uploaded. Of them, I do not expect 1 in 10 of you to consider this viable. Maybe not even 1 in 100. But if 5 or 10 of you, I mean, like, seriously, like, it is the core effectiveness here, like the potential for effectiveness is massive. And it's not about the phone banking is where everyone gets involved. Phone banking is where everyone dips their toes in, you know, everyone jumps in. This is for the few, the proud, the Marines, okay? For the elite few, you guys, for whom it is viable, at least give it some thought. That's all I ask. Give it some thought.
So I put the application link in the chat, Vosh, if you want to pass that along. And this is going to be, we're going to be reviewing applicants over the next few weeks. So these decisions are coming fast. So if you want to apply now. And if you have any previous canvas experience, that'll serve you well here. But even if you don't,
somebody in chat wants to know if they can help with phone banking if they're not American.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
There you go. I'm spamming.
You cannot donate, but you can call voters.
There you go. People in chat are happy.
All right. Well, they should be. I mean, this is the type of thing that if you're just sitting and thinking, oh man, what am I going to do this year? What do I want to do with myself right now? I'm not sure what I need to do. This is the type of thing that could end up starting you in a new direction in life. That's what it was for me. That's what it was for a lot of people that I know. They end up, working, doing deliveries or working at a convenience store or something, and then they start hearing about a political opportunity that gets them excited, and they start volunteering. They get hired, and that's it. They end up having a whole new career path that they would never have guessed.
Yeah, you never really know how that stuff goes, right? I mean, I would certainly know. Very different route. As productivity, commitment, and life responsibility goes, the path that a YouTuber takes, I think, is the exact opposite one that you're laying out. But, nonetheless, the point that you never know how things are going to go, that sticks.
Okay, I want to say those states again one more time. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, and Ohio. And you do not need to live in or near any one of those states to apply. If you're a good applicant and you're accepted, we will get you to those states where you're going to be.
All right. Well, there you go, chat. Free transport, too. I really do appreciate
Pop that link in there one more time.
One more time.
Just to give them one more opportunity.
The Google form one, I'm going to hit them with both. Okay.
Yeah. Hit them with both. And the summer V one.
I'm hitting. All right. I'm typing, I'm copy pasting. There we go. Control V. No, really though, I will continue to hammer the phone banking thing. How many days does it go forward? It goes till was it Monday?
It goes till Tuesday, the 23rd.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The night of Tuesday, the 23rd we'll be still calling voters that night on election day, and it's again progress.win/lead.
Oh, they've got it. Don't worry. There we go. I really do appreciate it, man. I apologize for not having you on earlier. For those who don't know, previous plans that we had to do some immediate on-the-ground canvassing were horribly marred by the candidate just winning anyway. You know, and Andy Lee, dabbing on the opposite. You know, a terrible problem to have, but.
It's crazy. You know, the political machines that have structured the Democratic Party over the last 100 years are like falling apart. It's crazy to watch, actually. I don't know if you've covered that at all on your stream lately, but it's like these are institutions that everybody thinks are like untouchable until they fall apart. It's all of a sudden like that.
Yeah, the impression that I get right now, more so than anything, is that the people on top in the RNC is actively like burning to a husk right now. Like with the takeover of the RNC by the Trump organization, and then committing like more funds over to paying his legal fees, like active fire situation over there. But on the side of the DNC, I just get the impression that a lot of the people who are doing their campaign game have legitimately no idea what they're doing. Like they're completely waffling. They just absolutely void of any like young leadership in most cases, certainly at a national level. You know,
well, there are a lot of smart people in the party, a lot of smart people in the Democratic Party. It's not that anybody is stupid. I just think that you're right that there's not a lot of young leadership that the Democrats have access to right now, and I think that we can fix that.
Yeah,
right? The more that
out of touch, you need to constantly replenish the world. Right. 10 years ago was a completely different planet to what it is today. You know, you have to keep.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we are that. I really hope
the people who get involved now and help the Democrats win now. If we can help the Democrats win, those are going to be the people who end up affecting what the Democrats say and do over the next decade.
Yeah, the DNC is very, very institutionally entrenched, but it's not immutable. And as frustrating as it is right now to see Biden, like, I don't know, dancing over Gaza or whatever else, like, he will die. Everyone dies eventually. And new people come about. And the people who come about who will have that power were the ones who showed up, you know, were the ones that showed up in their spiffy T-shirt and their, you know, at 8 a.m., you know, they're the ones who showed up and put in the effort. It's not going to be the people who complained. The people who just complain will always be on the outside circle of power. They're dooming themselves to complain forever because they will never have control over what's actually going down.
Yeah, fighting on Twitter is fun, but when a candidate shows up to their office and recognizes you because you've been doing work, that means that they know that you're the one who helped them get elected. And those are the people they listen to. That's why so many elected officials end up, like doing what their rich donors say, because those are the people they end up talking to. But if you start doing work for a candidate as an active volunteer or as a staffer, they understand that you are part of their circle and they're going to start to listen to you too.
100%.
Okay, thanks, Vosh. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. And by the way, I would like it if you could come on more often, maybe as like
I'd be happy to.
Less of an event and more of a like just getting the ongoing updates, you know?
Yeah, I would love to. And you know, it doesn't always have to be just business. You know, I know these, like if we're making ask after ask, it can get a little bit boring for folks. So I want to make sure that we can also just talk about stuff that people want to talk about and intersperse the asks too. So
yeah, we can play Lethal Company, you know, really give the people what they want. I appreciate it.
Progress.win/league. Thanks, everybody. See you at the phone banks. Thanks, Vosh.
Bye.
Bye.
Love that guy. Nobody cares about Lethal Company anymore. Play Helldivers 2. Whoa! They just came out with version 50. Okay? Lethal Company's fun. All right. I really do mean it, guys. I understand. Okay, there are two asks here. One of them, which is the actual full-time work, that's tough. Okay, I understand that. Only a few people who are watching right now would even consider that viable. But for some of you, I know this just as a matter of probability. For some of you, it is viable. And for those people, I want you to consider it. Now, for most of you, the phone banking is viable. And I would strongly encourage you to give it a try, even if it's just for one bit. Consider it like a little, you know, life is a tapestry of the new experiences that we have. Okay, so give yourself the opportunity to do something new Why is the pay so horrible? Welcome to politics work. PV doesn't have infinite money, you know? They need to get a lot of work done, and they only have, you know, they only have so much to offer for it. They're running pretty, like, narrow margins. Do not think of it as a job. It's a baseline, interesting opportunity. Think of it like a summer retreat where your food and lodging gets covered, and you do work. Again, only some of you, you know, only for some of you it would be viable. Yeah, it's compensation, not a wage. Like an internship? Well, no, because an internship gives the impression that, like, a corporation is just, like, using you for free labor. Progressive Victory isn't being a skinflint. Progressive Victory is just operating off of the grant money that it has. But it needs to get work done. You know, this work isn't being done to enrich a company. This is being done to change the future of the country. You know, there is a moral value in it being done for itself, even if people are volunteering and not being compensated. They are being compensated, of course, in lodging and food and $500 a month, but that's minimal compensation. You know, it is still morally just what is being done. It is for a good cause. Seriously, give it some thought. Where's it getting that grant money? What am I, a wizard? I got to talk to Progressive Victory for that. If you have any questions, join Progressive Victory's Discord, okay? There's a link to it in the thingy, right? Thought I saw it. Let me just double check to make sure. Contact organization. No, I don't see that here. Is it in the other link? House canvassing form. No. Let me see. Oh, wonderful. There we go. Yeah, it's literally on their website. progressivevictory.win/volunteer. There you go. Oh, and by the way, guys, take a look. If I'm not mistaken, that's some of our boys right there. And girls and NBs, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't contact be Discord? I mean, it's on the damn thing. It worked back in 2022 for Warnock. Back when they called PV22. According to the form, you'll be contacted via Discord. I think you guys should join the Discord anyway, if you have any questions. Now, I apologize for being a fuss about this. I know that I did this last stream too, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to go on account of me feeling like dog shit today. I know. I'm going to read these donations tomorrow's stream. I promise that I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Even if it kills me, I'm going to get a good night's sleep. It's going to be a good sleep, okay? So I apologize, but also I love you. When I'm not tired, Tempest, that is not a tired time to do it. All right, I am going to send you guys over to Riverboat Jack, who also does PV work. I'm going to send you over to Riverboat Jack. Here we go. Go on there and be good. Be nice. Be good and nice. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. All right? Take care. I wouldn't wear a knitted shirt this nice if I didn't care about you, okay?